Hey y'all, hey my lovelies. Okay, basically I want to make this video real quick, and it's about the shadow work. If you follow me on Instagram, I made a really cool, quick video about how we need to have that talk, that shadow self-talk. We need to look at ourselves for who we really and truly are, and that's just that on that. The good, the bad, the ugly, all your different colors, everybody who in your mind, your different personalities, get to know them. That's all about your shadow self work. I feel like we go through a lot of things, traumatic things, life changing things, whatever the case may be. There was a shift in your life, and you're not the same person you were when before these things happen. And we keep trying to go back to that person that we were, and we can't do that, y'all. That's why shadow self is so important, because we have to realize that we cannot go back to that person that we once were before we dated this person and they broke our heart, before we had this friend and they betrayed us, before we went to this job and we got fired because we can't communicate well, or whatever the case may be. Whatever. We keep trying to go back to the person we were before we went through these things. And it creates it basically, and that's why they call it shadow stuff, because we when we get upset, when we have these triggers, we don't know why we react this way. When we have these different reactions to certain situations, we don't ever get to the bottom of why it triggered us to react like this, why we couldn't respond that way, and yet we decided it chose to respond this way. Basically, it's and that when we don't acknowledge our emotions and how we really truly feel, when we don't acknowledge the thoughts that run through our mind, and how we really, and the perception that we really have, when we try to really just force another perception over our eyes and not accept what we really see, how we really see things, we kind of put the truth in a shadow. And I feel like that's why it's called shadow work, because you putting it behind you. It's in your shadow. You don't really you really just see this person, but we ain't paying attention to the shadow. And the shadow got so much shit in it that needs to be revealed and needs to be looked at, but it's in the shadow. Nobody's really caring about it. Well, let's do this some shadow work. For me, my for example, with me, what triggers me to when people tell me no and I react the way I do? Why? Why do I get upset when people tell me no? That's just an example. That's something that I have worked on with my shadow stuff. I never like to answer when people tell me no, because I'm a spoiled brat. I can, that's just my personal whatever, but that's just for example. And I feel like it's very necessary to do that. Try to get you some stones like black tourmaline, or purple amethyst, or amethyst stones, period. And when you're doing your shadow work, so you can stay grounded with it during this type of work. Some ways to do shadow work is basically meditating, journaling. Journaling is like one of the biggest form of meditation that I really do recommend, especially when it comes to shadow work. Journaling is gonna basically, you gonna write, and you don't even, when you write things down, when you journal, you don't even realize the stuff you pulling out your head, and it's stuff that you pull out your head that you never actually just knew was there. And it's such a beautiful thing when you're journaling. And that's what I've recently, well, I'm a journal hoarder. So, I just got like 10. I wish I could show y'all all my journals. I have like 11 of them. I'll show you just a handful right now. All my journals, like, it just helps. It helps to basically get these thoughts from here and get them on paper so you can really look at it. Because when thoughts are in your mind, it's so easy to push them out. So easy to ignore them. Shadow self work is so important, y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Peace, blessings, and all that good shit, y'all.